My name is Josh LaFleur with Late Star Piano. Today we're going to be going over the chromatic scale. I'm sure you've heard of the minor scales and major scales, but there's also something called a chromatic scale. And I'm going to show you how to play that, different ways you can practice it, and the correct fingering for that as well. So a chromatic scale, if you don't know what chromatic means, all it means is consecutive notes. So as your major scale follows a specific pattern with a specific group of notes, which I've talked about in previous videos. For example, let's take a B flat major scale. It follows a very specific pattern and it has specific notes within that scale. Same thing with chromatic scale. The only difference is instead of very specific notes, you just play all the notes. Right? So you can do this starting really on any single note that you want. It's actually a good idea not to start on C every single time with both hands, right? You can start on any note, it doesn't matter. You should still be able to have the correct fingerings for the chromatic scale. Good thing about it as well is you only use 2 fingers. So it's not like major scales where you're basically using for the most part all 5 of your fingers, right? Like if we just take that B flat major, here's the index, then we have the thumb, and the middle finger, then we throw in that 4th finger, right? You're pretty much using all of them. C major, you use all 5. Chromatic scale is only 2 fingers, so that's a good part about it. And the fingers you want to use, besides the turnaround, so really it's 3 fingers, but besides the turnaround, which is when you get to either the F or the C. So for the right hand, we start anywhere again, but whenever you play a C, you're going to use your thumb, at least to start. And then as you go, when you play the F, you use that index finger again, index finger, same thing going down, index finger, index, index, index. Right, so it doesn't matter if you're going up or if you're going back down, you got to use those specific fingers. For the left hand, very similar. You can start with the thumb, but it's going to be the E and the B. So if you start on your thumb, whatever, use your index finger to play that E and then B. And then we can keep going, same fashion. Same thing back down. It's the E and the B where you use that index finger number 2. Okay. So when you start off, you can always start on the thumb unless it's a black note. Then you can just kind of pick which one you want to start with. But it always follows that same pattern, okay? So again, the right hand pattern, let's start on G this time. We're going to use our thumb and the middle finger. Unless it's a C, then we use that pointer, then back to the middle. Or an F, then we use that pointer finger, back to just using the middle finger and the thumb. Pointer, same thing, back down. And the cool thing about the chromatic scale is that it's pretty easy to play, especially once you start practicing it and you have a little bit more speed. It sounds pretty impressive, so you can throw it in, different solos. If we're doing some chord progression like this, then you want to switch keys, you can just kind of throw this in. And then land on that C, for instance, and now you're in C major. So it can be kind of a cool little trick if you're improvising, or a lot of different classical pieces also have some variation of the chromatic scale. First thing that comes to mind is for Elise. At this part, you have this long chromatic piece, and then it goes back into the part everybody knows, right? So real songs have the chromatic scale as well. And something you do want to practice, something you want to be aware of and know how to play it. So again, those are the fingers for the right hand, left hand. Same fingers, mostly going to be the thumb and that pointer, except the only difference is if you get to the E, that's when you use that pointer finger, or B. Same thing going down. So that's the chromatic scale, something you want to practice as well, as long, of course, with your various different major scales as well, something you want to practice. That's just another scale for you. Those are the correct fingerings. Something else you can use while you're improvising and just another tool in your toolbox if you are a beginner piano player or something else you want to know about. With all that said, again, I do have a free PDF on my website that has 34 essential tips for the brand new beginner piano player. We talk about your mindset, we talk about your practice strategies, we talk about the approach, and at the very end, we walk you through how to play Twinkle Little Star. If that's something you haven't played yet, we're going to walk you through that in this completely free PDF. Link to that is down below. I also am offering lessons right now via Zoom. You can start with those. Again, email address is down below in the description. My name is Josh LaFleur, and have a great rest of your day.